Tim Hahne, the director of the film Adrenalin.
And my name is Julius Jacoby, and I'm the director of photography of Adrenalin. We thought at the beginning of the film we would make it in 90 minutes, and then we just, with every interview and every new story we discovered, we felt, okay, it can't be 90 minutes. And then we decided, okay, let's do a director's cut at first. So we cut everything that we think is necessary to be told. So we ended up at about 2 hours, and we were starting discussing, okay, is it possible to shorten it? And then we said, no, that's basically, you can't do it any shorter than 2 hours. So we decided.
Because if you think about it, it's 50 years in 2 hours, it's 2 minutes per year. It's nothing, huh? I think every part of such a huge project is kind of difficult because we're also a very small crew. We are not a Hollywood production company with 100 people. So actually we did everything on our own with a very small team. And so it was difficult because we only had 1 year to do it. And we had to find the right pictures, the right people to do it. They tell us the right stories. And then also that we can really put the interviews together and form a story out of the interviews. That was our intention, which is difficult because you don't have a speaker who really tells you what happens next, but the people, one says something and the next one says something else. So we made a book where we wrote down all the interviews. So, and then you marked the best parts of them, and then we looked what could match. A bureaucratic way, but it's the only way that you can really have an overview in the end. So this is how we did it.
BMW is basically the only brand that did touring car racing for 50 years. If we, our interview partners also said, like, okay, if you're Mercedes, there's a gap of like 10, 20 years where they didn't have the cars to race. And BMW has been there from the beginning. So that's basically the reason why there are so many stories.
I think one of the protagonists in the film, Steve Soper, he says it in the right way. It's like if you're driving in Formula 1, you drive for Ferrari, and if you're doing touring cars, it's with BMW. They have the strongest heritage. They have iconic cars like the M3. And so for us, and they have the people. Charismatic guys like Stuck, Winkelhock, Zanardi, people that you really love to meet and hear the stories out of their heads. So that was really something that was really working well together. For me, it's not a certain story that is the best for me, but the part of the old DTM for me is the most attractive part because there were so many cars. And they had still so much fun in the 80s. It was like in the old days, but on a higher level. And so much fighting, so many cool drivers, the crowds everywhere. And this was also the time when I was like 15, 16 years old, was at the races. My uncle was also a DTM driver at the time. My other cousin was driving for Mercedes, but that's another thing. So I followed the races at the time, and this was very honorable for me to really show these races that I was watching at the time, now make a film about it. That was something outstanding for me. Yeah.
I actually really like how we were able to retell the story of 2012, because a lot of people see, or told us that they see a difference between the new DTM and the old DTM, and I think we kind of made this 2012 season, showed it in a way that it's deserved to be showed, and showed that there's still the same emotions and still the same passion and the same enthusiasm in this racing. And we were really surprised and also really happy that we had those emotions at the end of the film. That's a part where I really like, because the film just gets really strong at the end.
I would say something else, because today people regard the drivers more or less as robots. They are not that charismatic and as the old guys, but it's not true. You just have to dip a little bit deeper into it. And normally in TV you don't see the two sides of the drivers. And we already knew Augusto Farfus, Jörg Müller, Bruno Spengler, Joey Hand before. And we knew they are really cool guys. You just have to ask the right questions and go a little bit deeper into it. And they start to make a philosophy about their job. And that was something that we were really happy to achieve.
if you have the whole history of BMW racing and you see the racing that is happening today, you might think that there are less emotion involved, but I don't think so. I think there's still the same cool guys that are racing. I still think there are the same emotions. But I also see that it is harder to transport these things through media. I mean, if you look at the old DTM, you were able to see inside the car like way more easy, because just how the cars were built, you just see the drivers and you see how they work, you know. And today it's become a little bit more cleaner. You don't see how the driver is working on the edge and on the limit. So that's, I guess, the reason why it seems to be not that emotional, even though it is.
Actually, I drive with the bike most of the time. It's true, because the way to work is very short, and if we have a job with the camera team, we drive different cars. But we really like the brand, but you have to tell that it's not a commercial about BMW. It is really a film because we thought if you make a film about racing, you should do it with BMW, because, as I said before, they have the characters, they have a long history, they have beautiful cars, and they have a lot of people that would love to see it. You know, they're still inspired by the M3 and have these cars in the garages, and so you see there's a lot of emotion involved also from the other side. So that was, of course, the reason to make a film for BMW enthusiasts, sure. The name is always the most difficult part, I think, because you don't know how it works, and a name normally only gets a certain taste when the film is ready and you heard the name for a few times. But if you, for the first time, you say, let's call it Adrenalin, you say, I don't know if it works. But the thing was, we wanted to have it working internationally. This name you can understand in Romania, in Germany, in America, wherever. And I think it's something that combines the drivers of the 60s to the drivers of today. You have to have some adrenaline in your blood to be really a good racer, to go to the limit, and to do things that you normally don't do in your life. For Porsche is the next film. No, actually, we're still involved in doing things like this. So, as we are a small team, we do lots of things on our own, also the marketing and, you know, talking with people. And now we do a Japanese version of the film with Japanese subtitles, which we don't understand, but they seem to be okay. And yeah, we're thinking about the next theme, but it shouldn't be. Maybe it's not motorsports, but we're still thinking about it.
If someone cries, I guess that's one of the biggest compliments you can get, because the film works, and you know everything that we wanted to get to the audience, it just works, you know, because people show their emotions, and that's just an honor.
Thank you. That's okay.
Keep the poster.
Yeah, sure.